Hello and welcome to Ask the Young Cow, hashtag ATYC. I'm Leon Street and he is...
I'm Jack Rogers.
Now, I want to say welcome once again. We are full flowing. We've got the sun behind us. We've got the prison bars going. We've got the hustle on today. Anyway, what's the topic today, Jack? Reveal all.
Yep, the topic is here's why you should host your own webinar.
Okay, so tell us why we should host our own webinar.
Wow.
I'll let you get into that in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm only taking a minute. Okay, so guys, remember it's every Wednesday, 1 p.m. UK time. Hashtag ATYC. You can ask us any question that you have about digital marketing, internet marketing, business, struggles, problems. We'll give you an answer and it will help you. So remember, if you want to get through to us, you can either leave your questions on the comments box underneath the videos on YouTube once the videos are archived, or you can get us on Twitter using the @YoungCowUK Twitter handle and the hashtag ATYC. Okay. So today's is an interesting topic and we're going to take you through the agenda shortly, just to give you an idea of what's involved, what we're covering today when we're talking about webinars. So let's jump back into our presentation. So just give me a moment. Right, so tell us what we got coming up, Jack.
Yep, so the agenda. So where do you start? We've got what is a webinar, how to get your webinar started, the benefits of a webinar, and then some little tips at the end. Just from past experience of doing these Hangouts for, I think, 3 or 4 months now, I think.
Yeah, I think it is about that. Yeah, I think it must be. Yeah, so we're ready to go, guys. And what I'm going to do now is take you into what is a webinar, Jack? Just tell the viewers, please.
So a webinar, it's a merged word between web and a seminar. So it's a web-based seminar which joins together for a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a presentation, a lecture, or workshop. It can be anything, or similar to what we're doing now. It can be what we said earlier, just a presentation. And the main feature of a webinar is the interactive elements. So it allows you to give, receive, and discuss questions or queries from your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And some webinar platforms will also keep the recording as a video, so you can upload it onto platforms such as YouTube, which is what we do at the end of all our Hangouts.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, so hopefully that's given you guys some kind of overview of what webinars are. How do you get started? So the first step is you've got to find a provider. Now there's many out there and we've listed some on this page just so first of all you get to grips with them. Some you may be familiar with, like GoToMeeting. It's all over the internet, and there's a couple of others on there: Webinar Jam, AnyMeeting, and you've also got Google's very own Hangouts on Air. Now Google's is free. It is a great one to test because obviously you can dip your feet in the water, so to speak, really where you just get to grips with how you broadcast, how you prepare, and when we get into the tips a bit later, the kind of structure that you need in place in order to host a successful webinar. So check out a webinar provider. Look at some of the ones that we've got on screen. AnyMeeting is also a good choice. They have a free package which allows you to have up to 4 people in a webinar, which it may not sound like a lot, but it might be a good place just to test to get started. And then you can look into the paid price plans beyond that beyond that number 4 or the 4 total that you can have in your meeting. So look at the different providers. We use Hangouts on there, and that's how this video is recorded every week, as we said, every Wednesday. And we've been doing this for about 3 to 4 months now. And the beauty of it, as Jack's pointed out, is that once your video or your webinar has finished recording, you then get the video of it, which can then be uploaded to either a web page, YouTube, or any other video platform maybe that you're using. I think that's about right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move forward. So webinar benefits, tell us more, Jack.
Yep, so some of the benefits we've got, it helps you to understand your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
So through interactive question and answer sections, webinars allow your business to interact with your target audience, find out their needs and their greatest challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing so, you can develop a real understanding of what motivates your audience.
Okay.
And this allows you to tailor your products, services, and advice to match. So I think it's a good way to get out there,
mm-hmm.
find out what your target audience like,
mm-hmm.
and it allows you to expand on that, similar to some of the past videos you've recorded.
Yeah. Now, what I would say is that the whole point of webinars is that people get to see your content, and more importantly, they get to see you, because more often than not, webinar, you're the face, you're in front of the camera, so people get to see you. So there's the principle of know you, like you, trust you. So you're building up, I suppose, emotional equity, brand equity. People get to see you, see what you're about, what services and the things that you're pushing, and hopefully you're pushing value out to your potential customer base, solving problems, igniting passions, and giving people a reason to want to listen to what you have to offer. Just think of it, if somebody comes to your web page, they may be limited in terms of only seeing text and pictures. Whereas if you've got them into a sales funnel online where they've registered for your webinar, maybe they've even paid for your webinar once it's registered because it's a paid access, and you're giving some really valuable information away. And at that point, you've really got people hooked into your sales funnel. And it might be that the webinar is just the first step in your sales funnel, where somebody comes in, they come on board at a low price point, but maybe actually you've got more stuff of real, extra superb, high, huge, big, hairy, ugly value that you can give to them afterwards. And so a webinar is a great way. The other good thing is that because it's hosted online, once you've recorded it, you then have an archive video, and actually you could then reuse that video to host more webinars, probably not live. They don't all have to be live. So you've got pre-recorded webinars, and it just allows people to watch obviously the content. And if people are interacting on an archive video, it might be that you've got access to where the questions are then sent to you, or you're notified. And at that point, using one of the platforms out there, you can respond to your customer still, even though it's not live. So you can either go live or you can go pre-recorded or archive type of thing. Right, let's jump back into the presentation then. So more webinar benefits.
Yep, so we've got builds trust.
Yep.
So hosting a webinar allows you to showcase your expertise, your knowledge, skills, and your products and services. Your webinar also benefits from the human element. So it allows you to put a real face to your business and helping your audience to engage with you and even become emotionally invested in your business.
Yeah, cool. So what else we got, Jack?
So we've also got that a webinar is affordable.
Okay.
And it requires little more than an internet connection, microphone, and webcam to get started.
Yep.
And Google Hangout is a free application. So it's the one we're using today, and that will reduce your costs even more. So other sites such as GoToMeeting, Webinar Jam, where you require a membership.
Yeah.
I think Google Hangout is a good place to start, just to build your confidence up and just to get a hang of how to record live and just improve the way you come across, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, raise brand awareness. So the webinars allow you to easily promote your business.
Yeah.
But especially when you're delivering high quality content. So it's not going to be one of these webinars that's just a sales pitch every single time. You actually provide high quality content that benefits your audience.
Yeah, cool. Right, so the next part is webinars can be repurposed, which is another great benefit. Now, if you think about this for a second, once you presented your webinar, you can repurpose your script to add extra value, especially for people who couldn't attend, and even people who attended and just want to recap on stuff. And you can do this by converting your script into presentations, blogs. It might even be slideshare presentations that you upload online. And as the diagram points out, you record a video, but you can easily transcribe that into a blog post, white paper, ebooks, articles, social media posts. And so your content goes further than just being applied to one channel of marketing, I would say. Let's move on then. So the fact that webinars are recorded allows you to repurpose that content. Again, videos can be either hosted on your own specific website, landing pages, or they can be uploaded to video platforms like YouTube, Vimeo. There's lots out there. And so it really allows you to extend your reach with the content that you're putting out there, which is a really important thing. There are some channels where people, for instance, if they're creating a blog, I don't know what a blob is. Yeah, a blob of information. So where they're recording their video, but whereas if it's a blog, let's get back on track. Your content stays on a web page, but it might not be that you've got pictures to accompany the blog, or it's very limited, and you've got people who simply like to push play on a player, watch the video, and that's what engages them more than reading, you know, a page of text. And also, as Jack's pointed out, the more you do it, the more confident you get, the better you get at coming across. And actually, you might be able to sell or actually convince people of, you know, whatever the content's about better being in person live on a webinar. So just some things to remember, really. And hopefully those benefits have probably just sparked a bit of interest and, I suppose, imagination about where you can take your content for whatever it is that you do. So it doesn't matter whether it's service, products, whatever. Your webinar can be about that. I mean, we're talking today about webinars, which is what we've been doing for 3 to 4 months. And part of this 3 to 4 months is how we've learned to, I suppose, perfect what we're doing, to improve what we're doing. And, you know, every week it is stepping up, and we know the content is providing value to people out there. The videos are being watched, the SlideShare presentations are also being viewed. And so that's what it's all about. It's getting your brand out there, getting the valuable content that you have to the people who need it most. Right then, so let's go into some tips about webinars. So I'll let you do the first 5, Jack.
Right, the first 5. Okay, so choose a topic and a headline that has great search potential. So an easy way of finding this is if you think of a title you want for your webinar, put it into Google or another search engine, just see what comes up.
Or keyword planner.
Keyword planner, yeah. If you on the Google AdWords. Number 2, set up the webinar within your provider. So I'm not sure what this one is, Leon, to be honest.
What do you mean? It's get a provider, choose one, because you can't have the webinar without choosing one. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So set up with the provider. So with Google Hangouts, you pick your title, and also schedule it if you wanted to go live afterwards. Create a landing page on your website.
Yep.
So this is something we've got very similar to on the youngcow.uk/ATYC.
Yeah.
So what we do, we've got a little player on there that every week before the Hangout, we update the link, and it's another place where people can go on and watch, and the Hangout is live from there.
And what I'd also say is if you do have registration, you would have specific landing pages to get people to opt in. Again, it can help you to build your email subscriber list. So if you're into email marketing, or you sell that way, or you get engagement that way, it's another perfect way to keep growing the list.
Yeah,
obviously.
Number 4, create a list of marketing channels you're going to use to distribute your webinar. So like Leon just mentioned, it could be email marketing. If you do a weekly email to give people a heads up on what you're going to be talking about. You can also use Hootsuite to schedule tweets throughout the week leading up to your webinar, just to get that little bit more interest and maybe to get more viewers and get more questions into your webinar. And shoot a 1-minute promo video to describe what people will what people will learn in the webinar. And I think that can be linked with number 4 as well. So if you shoot the 1-minute promo video, this can be the thing that you use in your marketing channels.
Yep, cool. All right then, point 6, if you've got a newsletter, include the webinar in the email. So, you know, it could either be 1 month prior, it could be a week, however soon it is, it really doesn't matter as long as you've got a list using newsletter. Make sure you got the right equipment, you know, right tools. So choose which provider, headset, microphone, web camera, whatever it is that you need. Make sure you've got the right stuff. You can either go, you know, budget driven, or you can go high end. And I suppose the more high end you go, just check places like Amazon, look at the reviews on equipment that people have used, and then you'll be able to make the right purchase. If you're still a bit unsure, please get in touch with us and we'll be able to assist you and let you know the kind of equipment that we use. Okay, so test before you are due to go live. Very important one. Don't just assume you're going to push play on the day and at the hour when you've said it's going to happen and everything is going to work. Do your testing beforehand, because even when we've got it working for weeks, I know a couple of weeks, was it last week or the week before?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, we actually recorded one of our Hangouts, and for some strange reason, there was no sound throughout. And the only way we found out was actually somebody who was watching and then commented. So we actually got some engagement and interaction, but albeit for the wrong reasons. But hey, it just shows people are out there watching. Now, what we were able to then do is, because we'd had the presentation prepared, is to re-record it and then get it out working the following week. So make sure you test. I can't emphasize that enough. And the testing also just gets you in a position where you can start to become more comfortable being in front of camera, especially if you're not one for being in front of camera. If you're purely going to do it with a presentation and you aren't going to be front facing, then, you know, at least you can test and make sure that all of the software works as you intend it to. Point 9, keep pushing your marketing to get confirmations and attendees. It really helps with driving people to watch and be engaged. And then point 10, ensure your message to them is either sent at an hour, either by text or possibly by email or both. Now, they're just some quick top tips that you can use for your webinar. Now, I think by that, and, you know, obviously going through the tips and whatever it is that we've gone over there, use them. We'll make sure that all of this is available. We upload the presentation to SlideShare.
Yep.
So Jack will be doing that at some point. So it will be on there where you can check those tips out, get access probably to a few more bits of information that we'll put on there. But go out, test it, see if it works with your marketing strategy. I'm sure it will. There's a lot of people out there who are making some really good money off the back of webinars, either driving people in or either getting people to buy and register into a webinar. And so look at it. It gets you in front of your customer. I don't know if there's anything else you want to comment on that.
No, not really.
Okay,
I just know from past experience that the Google Hangouts does get you confidence across. It does help you to be better in front of a camera and to... it transfers into meetings and things like that. So
okay, all right, it's coming from a personal development point of view. Push our chest out. So it will help you with confidence. It helps you to, you know, portray your understanding, your knowledge, get the right words out, because it's a pressured situation. It's not really pressure. You just relax and be yourself is the best way to do your webinars. And obviously, you know, the level of professionalism, the level of culture that you've got to put into your webinar based on your own values and what you do either in your business or yourself, if you're the brand and you're the company and you're just a one-man solopreneur or one woman. Anyway, so let's wrap up with our conclusion. We're just going to jump back into the final slide, which is a conclusion slide. So you've had an insight into webinars, their benefits, and if you're thinking of starting your own Hangout, remember, we are here to help. You can get access to some of our marketing bump, as we've got the link there for Google AdWords swipe file. If you really want to ask us some specific questions to do with Hangouts and so on, we're also very happy to help you. You can either get in touch by our website, youngcow.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter at youngcow UK, or you can call us using the old traditional method where you speak to somebody live, real. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else that I want to cover, but I'm sure Jack might have something else to say. I'm putting him on his spot.
I don't know what else to say.
Okay, now I think that just about wraps it up, guys. If you do have any questions, seriously, make sure that you get us on Twitter, #ATYC, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. UK time. And if you got anything specifics to do with today's, just leave a comment in the comments box if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.